Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Just about 3:30, so we can begin with the meeting. I'm Mike Chapman, Chairman of the Legislature, and I'd like to call this special meeting to order. And I would ask our clerk to call the roll.
Michael Didio.
Here.
Cynthia Aikman.
Present.
Hans Petcher. Tucker Whitman. Excused. David Axon. Excused. Mark Farrell. Excused. Paul Pinkney. Excused. Joseph Runkle.
Present.
George Fearon.
Here.
Stephen Cuddeback. Excused. Joseph Bennett.
Here.
Stephen Barsky.
Here.
Patrick Mahonick.
Here.
Timothy Lattimore. Excused. Michael Chapman.
We could start the meeting by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we move through the meeting, just a couple of housekeeping matters. Pardon me? This better?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You want to start over? As we move through the meeting, we would ask that we're going to provide some information to everyone. We're back here again as a follow-up. As I said when we first came out here, we're trying to keep this process of making a decision about the nursing home and about long-term care in our community as transparent as we can. And we want to bring you up to date on the latest information that we have. And when it's time to ask questions, we would ask that you please state your name when you're called upon, and that you limit your comments to about 2 minutes, because we do have to be out of here so it can be set up for dining. So that being said, I guess I'll give that back to you. This is really very brief. We've been, as you know, we've been out here a number of times before. We've been involved in collaboration with the folks at Mercy when the HEAL grant, which is federal monies that were provided to this community to combine the Cayuga County Nursing Home with the Mercy facility to then construct a 300-bed facility. And when I say construct, when they put it together and that Mercy building would have been rehabilitated, it would have been able to hold 300 residents. Well, we all know that hasn't happened. I believe that HEAL grant came somewhere around June 2012, and we are in June 2013. We've had a nursing home committee since 2011, and we have continued to faithfully meet on a regular basis, nearly every week, to do a couple of things. We continue to exchange information with Mercy. We were informed by the State of New York Department of Health that the Loretto group from Syracuse would be designated as an active parent. The active parent status was based on their success in running long-term care and other programs, and that a new entity needed to be formed. So it wouldn't be the Cayuga County Nursing Home, it wouldn't be Mercy Rehab anymore, it would be a brand new entity. We've had countless meetings, as I mentioned, with Mercy and with Loretto. There's been tons and tons of homework done. There's been numerous communications back and forth with Department of Health. We've asked a lot of questions. We haven't gotten an answer. More recently, we made a trip to Albany. We met with Department of Health personnel, and that was, I believe, April 2nd, and we were told that we would have an answer within a week if some of the tweaking that was done from our end would be possible. 6 weeks went by and there was no answer. So you get tired. We've continually tried to call these folks. The Loretto folks have done tons of homework, continually try to dialogue with Department of Health, still no answer. Back here on the county side, we kind of assess where we are on the calendar. So what we decided to do was we have constructed an RFP, a request for proposal. That proposal will be sent out shortly, and it will include the option to either buy the facility or to lease the facility.
What facility? What facility?
This facility, the Cayuga County Nursing Home.
Thank you.
In that request for proposal, there is a very strong recommendation in the language that the staff that is working here now be retained in order to maintain the quality of care that we would like to see going forward. This request for proposal will go out to those that are considered profit and not-for-profit. That being said, we're also working on a parallel track. We're trying to get the governor's attention. The governor made a statement when the HEAL grants were released in June 2012 that this would be the ideal area, that this arrangement of collaboration of long-term care in this region would be a model. We've not yet been able to talk to the governor, but we're not going to give up. That being said, that is really about it. I don't have details really on the RFP to share. It's a lot of lawyer speak and questions. Yes, sir.
One, thank you all for coming.
Could you tell us your name, sir?
Vincent Murphy. That showed me government's working.
I think I'm out of court.
That's okay. Not very big. Especially the women. We have women on the board. My wife was here. We've been married 63 years, and she gets wonderful care. Oh, sorry. Wonderful care for the staff, everybody here, especially the aides and the nurses. Can everybody hear me? No?
Mr. Murphy,
Hello,
talk,
hello.
talk right into it. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm Vince Murphy. My wife Mary Murphy's here. You're doing a great job. All right. You fellows too and the girls. We appreciate it. You don't often see this. This is to be politics in action. Politics in action. Now my question is, the reason I got my wife here is because I'm a sprinkler fitter, former sprinkler fitter and a designer of this type of facility. And that's why she's here. It's a one-story building, not a 9-story building. That you don't put senior citizens in there. Where are they gonna put their bird feeder? All I can say very simply is, please don't close this place. Figure another way to save your money. Start over there at the facility over there. Maybe you can save some money. A lot of money spent over there. A lot of young men in there shouldn't be in there, should be out doing something. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Murphy. Appreciate it. Other questions? Yes, ma'am. Right.
Mike, she could ask and you could repeat the question.
If I can hear.
Yeah, okay.
Can you hear me?
Any other questions? Yes.
Could you repeat the question so we all could hear it?
The young lady wanted to be sure that we had the correct telephone number for the governor's office.
Oh, okay.
I think I can talk about it. When you said that they wanted to keep the staff, is that what I understood?
Yes,
Which is
ma'am.
wonderful.
We
Now,
want-
Are you also saying residents?
Well, certainly.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that, because I heard where are the girls and where are the residents? Yeah, amen.
Yeah, we would certainly hope that the residents would remain here, and that was one of the ways that we thought we could try and ask or stress that the quality of care is super, and we want to maintain it. We don't want somebody, we really worded this, so we don't want somebody to show up, as happened in other communities, show up, buy a place, stay here a couple of years, and then leave. And you had a question?
Yes. Sandy Holmes. Can you clarify a little bit about the proposal? Does it mean that you are aiming to keep this facility here and remain apart from Mercy?
No. The answer is no. What I said was, we are sending out these requests for proposal. That's an exploration that we need to make to find out if there are interested parties out there. But we are on a parallel track to try and get answers from Department of Health, and we're gonna try and go through the governor's office to get those answers we need to see, can we really collaborate and have a larger long-term care facility in this region? Or do we have to find some other way to do it?
In a previous meeting, you mentioned something such as, being attached to Mercy, but somehow being like a satellite office. Is that still something that can be proposed?
Well, I remember that being a suggestion from the group here.
Disregarded it.
But that would be very, very difficult given the financial constraints, both of this organization and that of Mercy.
So basically, what you're saying is that you still are aiming towards moving these residents and staff to Mercy? Is that your main?
If Department of Health would come through with an answer.
What, to say that you can?
Yes, there's certain items that would have to be changed. The HEAL grant comes through and it looks great, it's a big bag of money, and they got this plan from Albany and they say, yeah, go do it. Well, in the real world, when you involve the Cayuga County Nursing Home, the folks at Mercy, the folks at Loretto, we need to have a better plan to ensure that if we collaborate, we will have an organization that we can count on to stay in this region and provide the high level of care.
Okay. I know I'm off for my 2 minutes, but I got 4 family members here on top.
That's fine, go
I know
ahead.
they won't say. But, so, I'm just trying to understand, so you really concluded that the best thing to do would be to merge with them and add that to Mercy. That's what you disregarded, what the folks here wanted to do and their families.
No, we haven't disregarded, the information that we received here. We hired a consultant, I don't remember exactly when that was quite a while back, January of this year. We hired a consultant who works in this type of setting. And a consultant looking at what the HEAL grant offered and the other information that was available about a collaboration, and applying that to the region. And when I say region, from Syracuse to Geneva, okay? And south to Ithaca, and north to Oswego. Collaboration to sustain a long-term care facility would be the best way to go.
Any of you members here have anybody in a nursing home in your family? No, members of the board. Anybody up there have anybody in their nursing home?
I did. My grandmother passed away.
Okay. I want you to stop and think about, if you're the one that you love the most and your family had to go to a nursing home, would you rather he or she be here, where there's a small environment, or go to an environment where they're lost on the 9th floor? Stop and think about that. And just dig into your soul a little bit and see how you feel. Or I'm sure you've taken many trips to Mercy, and you probably think it's wonderful because you don't have anybody there. But when you have a family member in a resident, you look at it a whole lot different. Thanks for your time.
Very good.
I also lost, my name is Mike Didio, I'm a legislator for the south end of Auburn. And I did lose a member of our family recently who was in Mercy and the VA hospital for a short time. Now, the situation here is that we're looking out for the whole community, Cayuga County. And if we were to go out, and if I was to have 500 residents of Cayuga County tell me that they will support Cayuga Nursing Home, then I would support that until the end of my time up here. But the problem is that we, and most people know this, Cayuga County is not in a state where we can afford this price. I would hope that I could say that we have a lot of money and we have a lot of funding and a lot of grants that will come in that will keep this facility open in the way that you want it and the way we want it. We're not trying to throw anyone out. We're not trying to cut staff. We're not trying to cut certain residents. And we're not trying to put you on the eighth floor of an unknown facility. We're going with the direction of the New York State government. The Department of Health is dictating all this. Albany says to Cayuga County and the other counties in New York State, you get out of the nursing home business, you can't afford it. And we're trying to go the best way that we know how. Hopefully it'll come out in the best interest of all of us throughout this county.
Anybody else have
Does that
any?
answer the question?
Pardon?
Does the question answer this yet? Would you rather go on the ninth floor or would you punch them under the committee?
I can't be concerned with that. I cannot be concerned with that. People do not understand what the situation is.
It's money, it's only money, it's what it's about.
Absolutely. That's what it is.
It's life
Don't
beyond
blame
money.
these residents because of the money. Don't blame the staff because of the money.
No one is blaming anyone.
It seems so as you were speaking to Mr. Murphy.
Well, I'm sorry that you understood it that way.
It's all about the money.
It is about the money. If we don't have the funds,
How can you say I can't be concerned with it? Everything about this is concerned.
We take that away.
take that away, I'll get in trouble.
Good afternoon. My name is Pat Mahonik. I'm Chairman of Health and Human Services. This has been a long process, and I think Mike did a great job summarizing it over the last couple of years and where we've been. Just to give you a little bit of background, my grandmother was one of the legislators and my grandfather that had this place built, that worked hard to make this place happen. And I sit and talk to her quite often about decisions that I make and the impact it'll have. So this is not an easy decision for anybody sitting at this table up here. We're trying to get all the information we can. That's why it's taken so long. We have hounded Loretto, hounded Mercy, hounded the governor's office, talked to federal representatives to try to help us out. We can't make a quality decision unless we have all the information. And part of that is the information we glean from you, as the residents and the staff here at the nursing home. So we appreciate the time that you guys give us out here. I'd also like to say, the service here and the quality of care here, from everything I've heard, is top-notch. And this isn't about taking that away from anybody, taking it away from the residents out here. It's about expanding it and taking care of our entire community. There are more beds down at Mercy that may or may not see the same quality of care that is seen out here. We have an opportunity, if we go that route and it works out, that we can supply more people with the great care that you get out here. We also have to be considerate of the fact that it's tough for us to be in the nursing home business. Like it or not, it's a very difficult situation for us to be in. There is a potential that Mercy could go private, this place could go private, and we could lose control of 300 beds in our community. And we're trying to make it so that we will have a say and some input into what is happening to the 300 beds that we will have here in this community. That's our goal. Our intention is not to close doors. Our intention is not to compromise quality of care. Right now, we are just getting as much information as we possibly can. No decisions have been made. This is just one more step in the process.
Anybody else have any?
Down and back there too, Mike.
Just one comment. I apologize for being late. I had another meeting and
Gotta hold it right up there.
I had another meeting, that's why I was late and it dragged out. It's not disrespect to you people, it just happened. I'd like to just comment on Mercy. My own mother who died just about a year ago, she spent the last 2 years in Mercy, and it is not a hellhole. I wouldn't have her there if the care was as poor as it's being alleged, so, thank you.
It's not mercy.
You wanna come up this way?
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say, but I get the microphone. Money. They don't want to hear that.
The question was, did we investigate whether more chargeable services were being looked at? I think there's been many assessments, and actually they're ongoing, to try and not miss a dime or a dollar. Somebody else had their hand? Yes.
My name's Nancy Jones. I represent 80 residents that live here. The bottom line is, you're either planning on merging or selling. Is that what we're hearing?
I'm gonna say yes. The question was, are we planning on merging or selling? The question is yes. And I said this before when we were out, I think, in our second meeting. This is the worst problem to consider as we sit here as legislators. It's a horrible decision. You've heard some of us have had relatives in long-term care. If it was just about numbers, it'd be easy. Talk to an accountant, it's easy. Talk to the lawyers, it's easy. But it's more than that. And I can tell you in our collaboration meetings with Mercy, with Loretto, with those at Department of Health, everybody's first priority is we've got to have the very best care. We're all getting older. We've discussed that many times here before. This is a very, very hard decision. I can't tell you how hard it is.
I have a question.
Sure.
My name is Amy Besner. I'm an LPN here. I work 3 to 11. If somebody were to buy this place, or if we were to merge with Mercy, how long are we looking at?
We don't know.
Give us an estimate, a real estimate, so we're not coming in every day.
I can only say this. I mean, you know, I don't have a crystal ball. The numbers, and here we go with numbers, okay? If there was this level of residents available for a larger facility, the revenue would be here, and based on projections, it should go on forever. We looked at the numbers, and we were talking that we needed to see a 3 and a 5-year plan. You know, the folks we've been talking to are willing to make an investment to stay here. This is a good area to be in, and it would certainly be a plus to the region.
But I'm looking at time. You said 3 to 5
I can't tell you that. I can't tell you it's gonna be 20 years.
Michael, I think she wants to know how much longer she has to work here, under the county auspices.
We don't know.
If we, in other words, let me ask you this. Are you saying if we had sent out the RFP, let's say, all right, and we get our replies back in 30 days, 60 days, how soon are we gonna make a decision? Probably another 30 or 60 days. We've done a lot of homework up to this point. I think each of us is really hoping that we can prod the governor, prod Department of Health to get with us and work together with us and make a collaboration work so that the availability of long-term care will be here for a long time to come. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Joanne Schildo. I'm one of the head nurses here. You were talking about, the question I have is, do you have to wait for answers from the state for this heat thing, or can you say at any point, you know, we've waited long enough, we aren't interested? I mean, are you obligated to wait for answers, or can you say, you know, if enough is enough, we're going forward?
the question is, do we have to wait for the state to give us an answer, or can we say enough is enough? Realistically, we hope this RFP going out may entice those people down at Department of Health to come forward with a decision. We could say no at any time. Ontario County said no. They had a $25 million grant, but they couldn't work an agreement with a hospital that wanted to come in, so they said, no, thanks, and they went away. How are you, Paul?
Good, thank you.
I guess you got to get right up to your mouth.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Flora Gagliostro. I'm a social worker at Cayuga County Mental Health. I've lived in the community for over 40 years. And I'd like to thank you, Mr. Chapman, for speaking for the members of the legislature. And I hear your concerns, and I was especially chilled by the fact that you're not responded to by higher levels of government, including the governor and the state. And I think it's frightening to consider putting the residents and the community in the hands of the governor and the state. Not for nothing, but I think you all have provided the best care to Cayuga County residents that can be had. I would like you to consider continuing that care. I put my faith in you as legislators and as county fathers and mothers that you have done an excellent job over the years. Congratulations to your ancestors for creating this. Thank you. Over the past 10 years, there has been a significant decrease in county employees. We've eliminated over 40 positions. That's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of tax money that are no longer being paid for by the county. It's happened through the cleaners, it's happened to CHA, it's happened to a number of other places. Hundreds of thousands of dollars continue to come in tax revenues, but is no longer going to our employees. It's going to private companies currently. And now, with those hundreds of thousands of dollars, finances are difficult, granted, but it's still hundreds of thousands of dollars that they will have this year, next year, and every year. Now, I also want to say congratulations to all of you for a AAA bond rating. It couldn't be better financially in Cayuga County. It couldn't be better. There isn't anything better than AAA. Congratulations on your fiscal responsibility. My question is, why is it no longer local government's responsibility to care for the elderly and the most vulnerable population in the county? I believe it is my responsibility as a taxpayer to take care of you, the elderly. I do not have any complaints about the tax levy. I do not have any complaints about the tax dollars. I believe that it couldn't go to a better place than here, than you all. And I hope that you will consider the fact that as county mothers and fathers, it's the responsibility of your government to take care of the most vulnerable citizens. My question is, please be careful with this decision. My question is, could it be that it is local government's responsibility, not only the staff's responsibility, to take care of our elderly? Could it be that it would be our responsibility to take care of you and your family? Could it be that it's the community's responsibility to take care of our own? And not private industry that makes money or tries to make money? Could it be? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Flo. Couple of things. Our comptroller just released a couple of days ago a list of counties, towns, and villages throughout New York State. Those that are susceptible to financial stress and those that are in financial stress. Cayuga County made the list as one being susceptible. That means all of us have to keep our pencils sharp. With respect to Flo's comment about putting your future, our future in the hands of the state government, this is exactly what we are trying to avoid by trying to change the state's plan, if you will, for our future to a more sustainable plan to provide this service. So absolutely, almost immediately as soon as we saw their plan, we said, it's probably not the best plan. I think local people have the best ideas, and that's what we've been trying to do. Anybody else have? Yes, Nelson.
You knew you wouldn't get through this without something from me. I want to first say that I know there isn't one of you that takes this job without knowing you'll make a difference. I know some of you personally, and I know the reason you ran is because you didn't want to be like those other people that didn't give a damn or got swept up into politics. You wanted to make a difference in your community. Am I right? Those of you I know, I am right. So, before I've spoken with you about what are solutions, I consider myself as much of a healthcare expert as the person who did your consultant work. I have spent my whole educated career in gerontology and working with the elderly. And I worked with many of you, and including my former administrator, Betty Orpalo, who has come today. And I would love to have her speak, because Betty was an assistant administrator for Mercy Rehab for many years, as well as an administrator here at Cayuga County Nursing Home, and knows with great authority and intimately both facilities and cares about people. No one person cares more about people at each facility than Betty Orpalo does. She has kind words to say about both facilities and all the people that work there. With that said, you alerted to I want to present again a win-win-win solution. I am a person who's about solutions that win, and right now you don't have one. You have some win-lose, you have some lose-lose, but you don't have a win-win, and I want to present a win-win. Okay? I want to help you look good to the rest of us and to work with the rest of us. So pay attention. Okay? And I've talked with some people out here that kind of like this scenario as well. There was probably only one line in the consultant's report that probably got glossed over while she talked about a merger, while I see the advantages of one administration for long-term care. I see those financial advantages. It cuts off some of the money at the top where you still have money to give good care and hire good staff, and that. There was about one line in there that talked to you about the new way of providing long-term care. And that was through small facilities and cottages. Is it making any recall that I mentioned this before? And that your consultant that you paid for this advice mentioned the same thing as this being a good resolution for good care in Cayuga County, and one that we all could be proud of, and the one that we wouldn't even mind going to one day. And that is, there are models already out there. There's models in Rochester, there's models in Cohoes, which is up on the other side of Albany. It's the Bill Thomas who kind of came up with this concept. I invite you to invite Bill Thomas, he lives locally, he doesn't live there far away, to come to a Cayuga County Legislative meeting to do a presentation on cottages and the benefit, okay? Cottages are based, for somebody who's not familiar with them, a new term might be, some of you might identify with a patio home, where you put down a slab and you build a home on top of that. Well, these cottages, and there's already a model, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's a model, many models already, how it's managed, how they're built. You could get costs, and that you can go see them. And it's like a great room with a kitchen, living room, dining room, kind of all in a great room where you can kind of see, have your own laundry. And then you can decide whether you have 10 or 12 individual rooms. Every resident would have their own individual room in each of these cottages. So they're really more like a home, go into a home, okay? They've shown that you can do this with less staff, that you have job satisfaction for the staff that work in them. You have resident satisfaction because they feel like there's a personal touch to it all. And you know what? Nobody's mentioned money here, but I've heard via the grapevine that these remodeling costs are going to cost $34 million. Have I got some figures right on that? To restructure Mercy to where you want it? $34 million. And if I recall right, you've only got like $10 million left of this HEAL grant. So where's the other $24 million going to come from? Okay, that's big. So I just did some real foggy math real quick the other night. And if there's, I would think that one of these cottages, and I don't know, but I'm on the board at Bluefield Manor, and I know that what it costs to do a duplex that's on a slab. So I think at the highest number, one of these complexes at the most would cost $500,000, one of these cottages in the new format. $500,000 to $100,000 into 10 million left means we could do 20 cottages. The brand new concept, if you did 10 or if you did 12, you'd have 220 beds. We got 80 right here. You got to resolve for the merger right here now with the 10 million you've got left, and you've got people that would not mind going to a nursing home someday. I think that's a win-win. We do not need, the way to go is not bigger places, it's not bigger impersonal fire hazards, fire safety at issue. You talked about the building construction. Please, let's be a real model here for Cayuga County, and then people here would not mind. How many of you as residents would mind going to a nice small cottage where only 10 or 12 people were there? And you know what, and let me take this even further. You don't have to have them all on one campus. Never mind that we've got some acreage left out here that you could start building them on, okay? You wouldn't even have to start buying and that. Why couldn't you, because they can be anywhere, why couldn't you build them in each of our communities? Why can't we have one in Fairhaven, one in Cato, one in Port Byron, one in Weedsport, Union Springs, Moravia? Why can't we have them all over this county so people don't even have to leave their counties? One administration, all a merger can still be a merger, okay? But it can be something we can, this whole community, imagine having them back in all your communities. We've done that with senior subsidized housing. There's no reason we can't do this with nursing homes as well. Please, let's get thinking out of the box. It's been done and we can do it, and we can do it for less than $34 million to redo an old building that nobody wants. Let's look at these cottage type things. Can we please do that? You win, we win, everybody wins. Even the budget wins on this kind of a plan. Can we try to do it, please? Can we look at it? Don't shake. Why can't you look at it? Why can't we look at it?
Depends on the HEAL grant that we're working with right now.
I know it. That's the 10
We
million.
we don't have use of that money.
They say,
Listen, we don't have use of that money unless we do it per the HEAL grant, correct?
A merger's a merger.
It's not, it's a merger dictated by the state, the Department of Health.
Can
That's what we're
somebody
trying
get me a
to.
copy? I want to see the exact wording of that. Can I get a, have any of you read the exact wording of that grant? I'm serious. How many of you have read the exact wording of that grant?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Raise your hands, please, if you've read it.
Yes,
Did you understand?
And you don't think there's room to, if it's, you've only used broad terms with us. You've used broad terms, merger, agreement with each other, 300 beds
It's in the Hill grant.
in the Hill
300
grant.
300
Okay?
beds.
Tell me why you can't think out of the box within the terms of that agreement.
Elsa, we are trying to think out of the box, if you will, with our approach to Albany. That money is not our money. If we don't do something similar to what they have laid out, that money will leave town. It's not ours.
Well, you know what? I still haven't heard where's the other 24 million coming from to do it. Okay? If that's gonna be taxpayer money,
There has to be financing in these projects, and that would be private financing.
we're all getting mixed messages, Mike. Does anybody feel like they're getting a mixed message here?
I'm sorry, but we're
This is
trying to
not-
zero in.
I know.
We're trying to
But it
narrow
is
it.
not progressive. It is not anything anybody can look to Cayuga County for us to build a bigger building. Even Mercy, let's say we don't even combine with them. Mercy can take that 10 million and build 20 cottages.
Okay.
It's their grant, you said it's their grant.
No. There's parameters within the grant language.
You know what then? We should say goodbye to the state because they're not making good decisions.
That's why-
We all should make a decision right here to say goodbye to the state. This is not a good deal.
Somebody needs to take a cattle prod and poke it up the governor's butt.
So thank you for listening to me. But
Somebody needs to get him on the stick. Somebody needs to take
I think we have
him.
somebody who wants to speak.
Somebody needs to take him and put him in a nursing home and put him in a facility with 1,000 beds or 300 beds or whatever. And yeah, and have some of these girls take care of him. They'll take care of him good. But somebody needs to get a hold of him, get a hold of somebody from the state. You're saying that you're taking and you're trying to get in contact, trying to get messages to him and everything, and you're not getting an answer. Somebody needs to do something to get an answer.
Tell them goodbye. Write letters, let's write letters.
Get them going. Somebody needs to do something.
I'll write a
Because
letter.
we can't just sit here and wonder what's gonna happen to us tomorrow.
Thank you.
Or the staff that works here, that depend on their job for their feed and to take care of their families. Okay? Somebody needs to do something somewhere. And all these letters and all stuff is apparently not working. Somebody needs to do something that's going to work.
Call it, Diane.
Thank you very much.
I just celebrated my 90th birthday this and that doesn't leave too many years for me to move into a new estate. So you boys better get busy.
Anyone else have a question? Yeah, Mr.
Why are
Murphy.
you putting money in this building now if you're gonna close it or move it?
Well, one of the options that the legislature has considered, if it was sold or leased, if it was sold and somebody didn't like this particular building, we would keep it part of the campus that we have here. So we need to maintain the building, no matter what. Whether it's full, whether it's empty, the building needs to be maintained.
Patch the roof, I'll rather put a new roof on.
No, it's been patched and repatched, so
Well, that's just-
time for a look. Sandy?
In response to the cottage type of a thing, I know you said that the state has boundaries in order to be given that money. Why can't you propose that to them as something outside of those boundaries? Since they're not responding to you anyways, why not set up another proposal to them in regards to the cottage?
I'm afraid. Sandy has asked why we don't send that proposal about the cottages to Albany. I'm afraid it would just take that much longer before any kind of reply came back.
Well, I know it may take longer because they have to reassess it, but in the long run, it would be better.
Here's another problem, and without going into the whole lengthy explanation about the HEAL grant, the funds expire March 2014. So we have to get, like I said, we've tried to tweak this a little bit so that we can go beyond the deadline, we can make changes that make sense, both in a business side and a quality of care side. And we're just gonna have to continue right now to do both explore with the RFP and continue knocking on the door at Albany. Betty, did you want?
Who is the lead agency in regard to this grant? Is it the county? Is it Brady? There's gotta be a lead agency if you're gonna get.
Well, we're waiting on the Department of Health is the one that administers the grant. They're federal dollars, they come to New York State.
But you're talking next March 2014. Somebody's got to be in charge of this project right now. Who is it? Is it Mercy or is it the county?
No, it's the Department of Health.
Yeah, but who does
You
the
mean
county-
locally?
Who does the county talk to?
We collaborate with the Mercy folks and with folks from Loretto.
Well, there's gotta be one agency. It can't be three different people talking to.
Well, in order to have a collaboration, you're gonna need more than one entity to get together. It can't be one-sided.
Don't make sense.
I'm sorry, Betty. I don't think I can stretch it that far.
See, that's other related duties.
There you go, there you go. You want me to stay right here with you, or you want?
Please,
Okay.
It's
We'll
my
just let it
understanding that this merger is being done for the sake of saving money, right?
Yes.
Are you guaranteed that you're gonna save money by putting it all in one place?
I don't think there's any guarantees in life.
That's right. So, you're really buying a pig in a poke.
No, we're trying to do as much homework as we can to
No,
make it a
because-
prettier pig.
Because if I understand you right, you have been subsidizing this nursing home.
Speak into
To
the
what amount?
microphone, please.
Pardon me? You got to put that right up close to yours.
To what amount, I wanted to know, to what amount has this nursing home been subsidized by the county?
About $1 million.
Each year.
About $1 million each year.
A year?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is there any reason to think that that won't continue when you put the same amount of patients down at Mercy?
Based on the model and the homework we did, no.
Why?
It won't be subsidized
Why?
because the income will change.
You mean the Medicaid rate will change?
Well, that's going to go down, but. if
Well, then
this-
where's the income coming from?
Because presently Mercy takes in less funds than this organization does. If the rate that the state allows here, which is higher than Mercy, can be applied in a merged facility, then that merged facility is, according to the model, will sustain itself.
I just have a fear that Cayuga County is pulling the chestnuts out of Mercy's fire.
Well, I think I've heard that
And
opinion.
at the cost of Cayuga County Nursing Home.
I don't think I'd go that far. We're trying to ensure that long-term care will be present and available for the future.
But who's winning in this? Mercy.
Well, how about the
Cayuga County
residents?
isn't.
How about the residents of the county? No. I guess my question then, Betty, what if this facility was gone? Where would you go?
Not Mercy.
No, but what if? You're
Well,
giving
but
me.
you're planning for it to be gone.
Exactly, and that's the intent.
What if it was gone? Do you want to go to Syracuse? Do you want to go to Ithaca? Do you want to go to Fulton? Let's we go.
We wanted to stay, and this is the whole point, we wanted to stay.
What you're saying. We're dealing with a facility here and a facility there.
I appreciate that. And we are trying to maintain the presence of long-term care in the community. It may not be in this building.
Well, I think that there is long-term care existing right now.
Yes, it is.
Right.
And we'd like that to continue, but it may not be in this building.
Well, I guess I'm a little easy on this.
Now, you gotta hold it up to your mouth.
Okay. It seems to me that this facility here becomes a moral responsibility of Cayuga County. And I think we do have some other agencies in town, in Cayuga County, that we do subsidize. Now then, don't we also then have a moral responsibility to subsidize this?
Well, to the extent we can.
Right. But didn't we sell one agency that was making money?
You referring to the job? No, it was not making money.
Oh, I thought I remember reading in the paper it was.
No, it was up and down, mostly down.
I think you were afraid it wasn't going to.
Right. I think it was. Okay. Well, I still feel that, I would like for you to look at many options before you do anything to this facility and to these people who live here and I would feel that would be a terrible mistake. And I still feel we should paddle our boat and maybe Mercy should paddle
We hear you.
and not together.
We hear you.
Not the same boat, right?
We hear you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Everyone is saying that we should try to, on this end, we're saying we need to cattle prod, get a hold of the Department of Health. But the bottom line is, what you want to hear from the Department of Health is, yes, we can merge. You, as the legislature, have decided that you're.
It's more than a yes or no question from them. There's been a number of proposals, as I mentioned, how the group that has been meeting tweaked what was presented from the original plan. So it's more than a yes or no. If they simply said, no, you can't do any of these plans that you have, great. We're on another path.
But your first choice is legislation is merge.
I'm not saying merge. We have to see if we can have them agree with us that a change in the original plan is okay and work. I know what you want. I know what you would like me to say, and it's going to go one way or the other. I can tell you
Merge
that.
or sell?
It's headed that way.
But you would rather merge than sell?
Merge is your choice.
We are still looking for additional information. Am I right? Okay. We're not at that crossroads.
If the health department says, we will meet, yes, we will keep, let you retain staff, yes, we will let you keep bringing the residents that are there over, all, whatever demands you may have proposed to them, if they say, yes, we will meet your terms of the agreement, and we can merge in this fashion, you guys are ready to say, okay, let's go.
We are ready to proceed and continue to gather information. That would be, I'm going to say, the most likely course. Yes. Yes, sir.
I'm Dave Greeno, and I'm standing in healthcare. And I know a number of the constituents up on the board there. But I have a couple of comments. I agree with all the people around here in this room too. Right? And I heard a comment from the individual that came today that said, Mercy was health home, some of the words.
It's not.
No, he
It's
said,
not.
Whatever it is,
he said it was not.
It was not, right.
It was not a health home.
Right, it was not a house. But, people here, in this is the utmost top-notch care. Like, as relatives that work here, and here, no way
Mark.
to send their,
I just wanted me to say one
Hear me
thing.
out. Like, let me talk.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I'm just,
So the county, I represent my mother. My father was here years ago, he passed on, utmost care, utmost care. Right? But my question is, if you're really, it sounds like it's a definite merger side. No question about it. Which I disagree with. I'm sure everybody else in this room disagrees. But why can't we merge and bring Mercy here? Okay, you got all this money supposedly, now hear me out, all this money supposedly, why not add the, what, 200 beds at Mercy? I don't know how many beds are over. There's three addition out here, you got perfect property, country setting, you're gonna throw all these people over Mercy at next to the 10th floor, and I'm not saying no villages is a bad spot, but I would rather want my relatives out here than in the city at the southwest end of the town. And I live on the south end. I live on the west. So as far as I'm concerned, has that been looked at to merge and build here?
Of course it's not, because all we want to do is
Go ahead.
One point, I've been out here at the nursing home several times. One point is that if the merge happens per the HEAL grant, where this is where the funding will come from, through the Department of Health, no one is going to Mercy as we know it today. It will not be Mercy. It will be a new entity. All people will be involved, all the staff will be. Why? Pardon?
I'm talking about building.
No, I understand that. I understand your point, because I live right across the street. And what I'm saying is that what you need to understand is, and I'm confused every time the finger is pointed at Mercy. No one is going to Mercy as we know it today. I want to make that point clear.
Same location. It's still the
It's
same.
going to be the same location. It's dictated by the HEAL grant.
That it has to be there at that address?
That's what it says.
Why can't you suggest that it be at this address?
We have suggested for the past year a number of things.
Did you suggest that?
Certainly. That has been suggested when we can get a hold of them. We've written to them. We suggested other people write to Albany.
Could you give us, we have an active family council. Can you provide us with a name and address and let the family council here write to them? And
Sure.
perhaps even the
Sure.
resident
Sure.
council would like to write to them.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I don't have that with me.
No, but we'll provide that to you now.
Yeah, we got it.
We're fast approaching our time when we must leave. Anybody have maybe one or two questions here? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having this forum. My name is Mark Kotzen. I work for CSEA, and I'm a representative on behalf of a lot of the employees here. And I have a little bit of a different perspective than a lot of people here because I cover 20 counties in central New York. And I've watched this play out in other counties struggling with this issue. And no doubt about it, you guys have a very difficult task in front of you. And so I applaud you for taking the time to talk to people about this and to listen to what folks have to say and to make some difficult choices. And a couple things I want to touch on really quick. I know time is short. You talked about the fiscal duress that the county is under right now, that you're on the list, and that obviously, the nursing home does cost money to the county and will continue to. We've seen other counties in the state in far worse condition keep their county nursing homes and make that commitment, and I think it was Betty that said Don't we have a moral responsibility to continue providing care? And I know Flo said something to that effect as well. And it does become a question of what is the priority of the leadership, the elected leadership of this county? What is the priority of the citizens? Do we value providing public health care for our senior citizens? If so, how do we come up with the money to do that? And so the task before you is to figure out what can we do to find those cost savings, to continue that moral responsibility to provide senior care at the best quality, and we know the best quality is here at this facility right now. The second thing I heard you say, Mr. Chairman, was that you were looking for maintaining a sustainable solution. And I just want to tell you, I know our leadership has talked before about this, but the simple fact is that putting out an RFP does not guarantee you in this community a sustainable solution. We saw it happen in Delaware County where they put out an RFP. They went through the process. They found what they thought was a responsible bidder who already operated some nursing homes. That bidder took over the nursing home. 6 years later, they ended up walking away from the facility, the ownership, because they had run up so many deficiencies that the state was threatening to pull their funding. They just decided it wasn't worth it anymore. They weren't making any money. They broke all the promises they made to the community. They broke all the promises they made to the elected officials, and they walked away. And 125 people were suddenly, for lack of a better way to put it, homeless. They were sent to facilities throughout New York State, other states nearby. Very few of those people ever stayed in their home county of Delaware County. That was a tragedy for Delaware County. And we've said before, as the union, we don't want to see that happen here too. We get the whole statewide perspective because we see it happening all over. We understand the finances. And we have said time and time again, we're willing to work with the county. It's hard to work with the county when they won't even provide us the HEAL grant paperwork, which we've asked for repeatedly.
Yep.
I'll just put that out there. But the simple fact is, if you go private, you go through this RFP process, you find the most responsible bidder that you think is in great financial shape and is going to carry on the nursing home operation. The simple fact is that there is no way you can guarantee that in 6 years, 10 years, 12 years, whatever that time limit is, that the same thing that happened in Delaware County won't happen here too. And that would be a tragedy for the residents of Cayuga County. We urge you to look at other alternatives in the RFP process. We urge you to listen to what the people here are saying. They want to keep this home public. Let's find a way to work together and make that work. Thank you. We represent about 80 workers here, 80 or so.
Nurses?
Not the nurses, but the LPNs and the other staff. Pardon? Maintenance staff, yep. Yep.
Could you explain what an RFP is for some of us?
Yeah, it's a request for proposal.
Okay.
So
Well, just for all the employees here, I think we've saved the county a lot of money since we haven't had a contract for almost 2 years. Yeah, thank you.
in closing, I just want to say this. We appreciate the fact that we have a super staff. It would be disappointing to come to a meeting like this and not hear our staff stick up for the facility and our residents give us information that this is truly a great organization here. We have not lost our moral compass. It is a moral decision. As I said before, if it was just about numbers, it's easy. We can do that.
Sharpen your pencils.
We appreciate the information you've shared with us. We'll take it back. There'll be further discussions. As soon as we have any additional information, we'll be back out to visit you. Want to keep this process as transparent as possible. So thank you very much. And with regard to the comment from the CSEA rep about a document, I have that document which I brought with me today to give to Ms. Hoffman if she's here. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Motion to adjourn.
In favor?
Aye.
We're out.